Question number 15. So we have been given the volume of a pyramid is equal to 1/3 times the base area times the height of the pyramid, right? So the diagrams show a solid pyramid L. So this is L, and we have, it has been cut into two parts, which is L is now M plus N, two parts, right? And then we have the base is 12 by 9 and the height is 30. Okay, so the first question is we have to find the volume of L. So we have to use this formula, which is 1/3 times the base area times the height. Okay, so 1/3 times the base area, which will be 12 times 9 times the height, which is 30. So now we have to simplify. This is 3, 1, 10. So that'll be 108 times 10 will be 108. So the volume of L is 108. That's the volume of L. Now part B, it says that the height of the pyramid M, which is this one, the small one, is 1/3 of the height of pyramid L. So basically say that the height of L, so we have to do, let's do it this way. The height of M over the height of L is 1/3. That's what it means. So now we have to express the volume of M as a fraction of the volume of L. So if you're comparing length is 1/3. So let's say, for example, if you were comparing area. So let's say I was comparing the area of, let's say, AM, AL. That will be 1/3 square. So now we're comparing volumes. So what's going to happen? So VM, VL, so it will be 1/3 cube for volumes, because the unit is cube and the square is unit square. So this was an example. We don't need to know this for this question, but that was just an example on what to do to find this comparison. So for volume, we have to always have the cube for the comparison. So that will be 1/27. So that's the volume of M as a fraction of L. So 1/27. Okay, so now the last question. Calculate the volume of N. So what is N? N is this part. So how to find the volume of N? So we have to take this big one minus this small one to find this N one. So we know the big one already. So the big L is 1080. So now for the small one, we don't know yet, but what we know is that if we know that the fraction of this is M. So 1/27 times the volume of L will be M. So let's do that. So what is the volume of M? Let's do it here. So volume of M will be 1/27 times 1080. That will be what? Divide by 9. That will be 12. 3. That will be 40. So the volume of M is 40. So the volume of N is the big one, which is 1080. So 1080 minus the small one, 40. So we will have 1040 for the volume of N. So that is your answer for part 2. Question number 16. Given that A is equal to 3 and B is equal to -7, evaluate part 1, 2A minus B. So this one is very easy. We just have to replace the value of A and B. So 2A, A is what? 3 minus B, B is what? -7. So 2 times 3 is 6 minus 7. So minus become plus. So 6 plus 7 is 13. That is your answer for part 1. Okay, so now moving on to part 2, we have A squared plus B squared. So same thing, we have to replace the value of A and B in this equation. So A squared is what? Is 3 squared plus B squared is -7 squared. So 3 squared is 9 plus 7 squared is 49. That will be 58. That's your answer for part 2. 58. Okay, moving on to part B. So we have this formula, a is equal to 2r squared plus 5. Rearrange the formula to make r the subject. Okay, so we have a is equal to 2r squared plus 5. So 2r squared is equal to a minus 5. Right, r squared is equal to a minus 5 divided by 2. Thus, r is equal to square root of a minus 5 divided by 2. And that is your answer for part B. Question number 17. So we have this graph and a triangle A on the graph. So question number A, it says that we have a triangle B is the image of triangle A after reflection in the line y is equal to minus 1. So where is the line y equal to minus 1? Let's first draw the line. So the line is this. And let's just... Okay, so that's the line y equal to minus 1. So now if you have a reflection in the line of y equal to minus 1, so we just have to count. So this point, so 1, 2, that's 2 squares from the line to the line. And now the reflection will be 1, 2. Same. So same for this point, 1, 2, 1, 2. And now for this point is 1, 2, 3, 4. So 1, 2, 3, 4. So that's the image of triangle B. After the reflection on the line, y is equal to minus 1. So that was pretty easy. So moving on to part number B. So let's first label this as triangle B for part A. So moving on to part B, the question is, we have a triangle C is the image of triangle A. So triangle A is here. After a stretch, with a stretch factor of 2, with the y-axis as invariant. So the y-axis will be the invariant line, and we have a stretch factor 2. Part 1, draw and label the triangle C on the diagram. So how do you draw the image of A after a stretch factor of 2 with this line as invariant? So it's pretty easy. So you go to this point, you have to count the distance from the line, which is the y-axis, because it is our invariant line in this question. So count 1, 2. It's 2 squares from this line. So now we have a stretch factor of 2. So we have to do this distance, which is 2, times 2, which is a scale factor. So 2 times 2 is 4. So we count 1, 2, 3, 4. That's 1 point. So now for this line, for this point, we have to count 1, 2, 3. Okay, so back to here. So it's 3 squares times the scale factor of 2. So 3 times 2 is 6. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So that's the second point. Moving up here, 1, 2, 3 times 2, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So that's the image of triangle A after a stretch factor of 2. So this one was pretty easy, nothing too hard. So one thing to know is when you have a stretch factor, you also have to find the stretch matrix in most cases. So let's label this C. You'll see in this question here, find the matrix representing the transformation that maps A onto C. So we have to know this matrix. So for any stretch transformation, the matrix looks like this: K, 0, 0, 1. With K is the stretch factor. So in this case, we know K is equal to 2. So the matrix is 2, 0, 0, 1. So then that's it for part 2. Question number 18, part A, evaluate 3 to the power of minus 2. So when we have this, we can make this positive. Let's rewrite this as 3 to the power minus 2. So what is 3? 3 is basically 3 over 1, right? So now if you flip this, 1 over 3, this will become positive, which will become 1 over 9. And that's your answer for part 1. So now we have to find 125 to the power of 2 over 3. So what is 125? So 125 is 5 times 5 times 5, which is 5 cubed. So 5 cubed, replace the value of 25, power of 2 times over 3. So we just have to do 3 times 2 over 3. Cancel. We get 5 to the power of 2, which will be 5 times 5 is 25. That is your answer for part 2. Okay, so now moving on to part B, we have simplified this whole fraction. So we have, let's say we have 2a square b 5, have 18a4 and b to the power of half. So let's simplify. We have b here, let's cut b, so 4 is remaining. So we have, let's cut this one. We have 2 remaining at the bottom. Let's cut this 1, and then we have 9. So now what do we have? We have b to the power of 4 over 9a squared, power of half. So now, what is 9? 9 is 3 power of 2. That will be b 4, 3 power of 2, a 2. So now we can bring this half in. That will become, so 4 times half will be 2, so b squared. So 3 power of 2 times half will be 3. A power of 2 times half will be a. So that is your answer in its simplest form. B squared over 3a. Question number 19, part A. 6 square meters of carpet costs $258. Work out the cost of 10 square meters. So we are given that 6 square meters equal to this price, $258. That's the price for 6 square meters. So what is the price for 1 square meter? We have to take 256 58 divided by 6. That's the price of 1 square meter. So now we have to find the cost of 10 square meters. So 10 square meter is equal to 258 divided by 6 times 10. So what do we get? So let's try to solve this one. Let's divide by 3. 2. We have 8, 1, and 6. Divide by 2, we will have 43. So the cost is 43 times 10 will be 430. So 430 will be the answer for part A. Okay, so now moving on to part B, we have 1 dirham is equal to $0.3. Right. Now Amit changes $90 into dirhams. Calculate the number of dirhams that Amin receives. So what do we have? We have $0.3 is equal to 1 dirham. So how many dirhams is equal to $1? So it will be 1 divided by 0.3 dirhams. So now we want to know $90 is equal to how many dirhams? So 1 over 0.3 times 90. So if you divide by 3, we will have 30. We have 0.1. So which will equal to 30 divided by 0.1, it will be 300. So the answer is he will be receiving 300 dirhams for part B. Okay, so part C, Sabah is filling a tank with water. Okay, so it takes 20 minutes to fill the empty tank when the water flows at a rate of 2.4 liters per minute. So if the water flows at 2.4 liters per minute, it takes 20 minutes. So let's find what is the size of the tank. So it will be 20 minutes times 2.4 liters. That will be 48 liters. That's the volume you can hold for the tank. Calculate the time it takes to fill the tank if the water flows at a rate of 4 liters per minute. So we have to take 48 divided by 4, which is the rate, equal to 12. So it will take 12 minutes to fill up the tank if the water was flowing at 4 liters per minute. Question number 20. So here we have the distance time graph shows the journey of a red bus traveling from a village to a town. Okay, so the first question we have to ask ourselves, what is the distance from the village to the town? So 0 to 25. So the distance from the village to the town is 25 km. Okay, so now part A. Find the total length of time for which the bus is stopped during the journey. So on the graph you can see these horizontal lines. So those are the times when they were stopped. So let's count. So it was stopped 1, 2, 3, 4 times. And what is the time that it was stopped for? So for time 1, we can see that it was stopped for 2 squares. For time 2, it was stopped by 1, 2, 3, 4 squares. And time 3 was stopped by 1, 2, 3 squares. And time 2 squares. Okay, so what is the value of one small square? So we have 10, so 1 minute. So that will be 2 minutes. So that's 2 minutes. That's 4 minutes. That's 3 minutes. And that is 2 minutes. So if you add everything together, we'll find the length of time it was stopped for. So 2 plus 4 plus 3 and plus 2 equal to what? So 4 plus 2 is 6, 6 plus 2 is 8, 8 plus 3 is 11. So your answer is 11 minutes it was stopped for. Okay. So now we have to find the average speed of the bus over the whole journey. So speed is what? Speed is distance over time. Distance is 25 km we found. So what is the time it took to travel from village to town? So we can see that the bus began traveling at this time. This is 11:05 and stopped at this time, which is 11:55. So it took the bus 50 minutes to travel from village to town. So 50 minutes, 25 km. That's the distance between the village to the town. So now we need to find per hour. 1 hour is 60 minutes. So 60 minutes is equal to 25 divided by 50 times 60. Simplify, we get 1, 2, 1, 30. So your answer is 30 km per hour. That's the average speed of the bus. Okay, moving on to part C. A yellow bus leaves town at 11:25. It travels non-stop along the same road to the village at 50 km per hour. Okay. On the graph, draw the distance time graph for the yellow bus. So we know that it left town at 11:25. So let's mark this down. From 11:25, it will be this point here. It left town at 11:25. That's the point it leaves town. Okay, now the other information that we have is it traveled at a constant speed of 50 km per hour. So we know the distance is 25 km. So how much time he travels from town to village? So it will take him, 50 km will be, so 1 hour is 50 km, which is 60 minutes is 50 km. So the town is only 25. So 25 km is what? Is 60 divided by 50 times 25, which will equal to, so if we do the math, it will be 2:30 minutes. It will take the bus 30 minutes to travel from town to village. If I left town at 11:25, it will take me 30 minutes to arrive at the village. So 11:25 plus 30 minutes. That will give me 11:55. Okay, so now we go to the graph. So 50, 55 is here. So that will be this point. So we have to join this point to this point to show the journey of the yellow bus. So just join these two lines. Okay, so that's the graph for the yellow bus. So now we have to find at what time does the yellow bus meets the red bus. So it is where they intersect. So at this point, the two meets. So that will be about this time, which will be, so 11:30, 35, 36, 37. So I obtained 11, 35, 36, 37. So 11:37 is the time that I have for when they met at the intersection. Of course, you have a margin of error in the marking schemes, so you can also have 36 or 38. That will be okay.